In the days following the fall of Barad-dûr, when the Fellowship's road had diverged and new kingship had dawned, Legolas of the Woodland Realm stood amid the changed world. His keen eyes had witnessed Sauron's ruin and the crowning of King Elessar in Minas Tirith. Yet now, freed from war's urgency, the elf found himself drawn toward unfamiliar paths. He might have returned to Erin Lasgarlan, Mirkwood reborn under green leaves, where his father Thranduil's people prospered. Instead, he lingered in the south, a region he once viewed as distant and dim, for he saw now that the fate of lands and peoples he had scarcely known was bound to his own destiny. He traveled first with Gimli the dwarf, fulfilling a promise made in the heart of the Fellowship's trials. Together they ventured into Fangorn Forest, a place Legolas once knew only through distant tales. Here, under ancient boughs, they sought the wisdom of the Ents, and Legolas listened to the slow voices recalling ages long past. Gimli, uneasy at first, found himself softened by the forest's quiet power. "I have taken my worst wound at this parting, having looked my last upon that which is fairest," Legolas had said once in Lothlorien, marveling at the world's hidden wonders. Now that the peace allowed exploration, both he and Gimli embraced these chances to see marvels that war had denied them. Then came their journey to the Glittering Caves of Aglarond, beneath the Hornburg in Rohan. Gimli's pride in their beauty was met with Legolas's astonishment. Though an elf of forest and leaf, he discovered strange enchantments in stone. No longer could he claim that only living green things could enthrall him. In these halls of shimmering crystals, he learned to appreciate the world's hidden diversity. Such discoveries deepened the bond between elf and dwarf, a friendship that defied old hatreds and set a precedent rare in the annals of Middle-earth. Yet even as he wandered, Legolas felt drawn to a more lasting purpose. He knew that Aragorn, now Elessar, intended to restore the realm of Gondor to its ancient glory. Among those plans lay the renewal of Ithilien, once called the Garden of Gondor, now scarred by the presence of Mordor's shadows. Ithilien has become fair again, the records would later note, and Legolas was a prime reason why. He summoned elves of his father's kingdom, bringing their arts to heal the land. They replanted groves, coaxed streams back into purity, and taught men how to blend woodland and field into harmonious tapestries. As the return of the king records, Ithilien bloomed anew, and in its greenery elves and men came to live in peace and plenty. Visiting Ithilien, Aragorn and Arwen marveled at this peaceful transformation. Legolas had given the king's hopes a living form, proving that even lands ravaged by war could be nurtured into beauty once more. He spent decades there, guiding his kin and befriending the mortal inhabitants, weaving a subtle bond between Eldar and Edain. Legends say he would sing softly in the twilight under leafy canopies, recalling the music of distant ages. Though the texts offer few direct dialogues for these years, it is known that Legolas's presence ensured the survival of elven culture in this region, and travelers in ages to come would speak of Ithilien gleaming in leaves and quiet laughter drifting among hidden glades. Time, though gentle, still passed. Legolas watched men grow old and their children rise in turn. He exchanged visits with Gimli, who delighted in seeing how the elf shaped living forests as artfully as a dwarf shaped precious gems. Gimli noted wryly that his friend had tamed mortal lands with elven grace, while Legolas teased him about comparing wood and stone. They recalled their oath to see the lands and marvels of the world, now that swords lay sheathed. Sometimes they visited the Anduin, where swans glided on calm waters, and the memory of war faded like distant thunder. Yet within Legolas stirred the longing of his kindred, the sea longing awakened by hearing the cry of gulls at Pelagia during the war. In The Return of the King, it is said, for Legolas, it is told in the Red Book that he heard the cry of gulls and that sounded ever in his heart thereafter. Though he found purpose and joy in Ithilien, he could not dismiss this call. Silently he bore it, knowing that one day he would heed the ancient summons. He would not depart Middle-earth while his friend Aragorn reigned, and while Gimli and others dear to him yet lived. Still, he felt that in some distant future he would build a ship and sail west, just as many of his people had done before him. The records mention that after King Elisar passed from the world, Legolas built a grey ship in Ithilien and sailed down the Anduin, seeking the shores of the Great Sea. It is said in the Red Book that Legolas took Gimli with him because of their great friendship, a gesture that astonished even the wise, for never before had a dwarf travelled to the Undying Lands. Thus, Legolas ensured that his departure was not marked by solitude, but by an act of fellowship transcending old hatreds. This final chapter, whispered in the histories, joined mortal and immortal in a voyage beyond the circles of the world. In the meantime, the years following the ring's destruction were filled with simple rewards and quiet wonders. Legolas embodied the restoration of Middle-earth, an immortal who chose to remain until he had seen this age firmly rooted in peace. He watched as children of men played under trees he had planted, as trade flowed through Gondor's roads, as old enmities softened. If he sometimes thought of the sea, he also cherished the present moment, binding his fate to the realms he helped heal. When he journeyed briefly to see how the Shire thrived in protected grace, he found a land untouched by sorrow, its hobbits free from fear, and realized all was as it should be. These subtle tasks, tending Ithilien's forests, advising leaders with gentle words, shaped a legacy less heralded than his deeds in battle, yet no less profound. He was once the elf who leaped lightly over snowdrifts, who counted the slain with Gimli at Helm's Deep, who shot arrows at the Nazgul, who journeyed through Moria's dark halls. Now he became the elf who planted seeds and taught men to love green things, who encouraged harmony in a world healing from scars. In these endeavors, he realized that heroism extends beyond swords and arrows. Sometimes it resides in nurturing life after death's shadow has fled. The texts do not preserve every conversation, nor list every kindness he performed, but they confirm that Legolas and his kin remained in Ithilien well into Aragorn's reign. Legolas brought many of his folk out of Greenwood the Great, and they dwelt in Ithilien, Mishi, says one account, making the land once again the fairest country in all the west of the mountains. Such a legacy can endure longer than memories of war. In time, history turned another page. After Aragorn's passing, when Arwen retreated in sorrow to Lothlorien, Legolas knew the era of the Eldar in Middle-earth neared its end. The world belonged now to men. Freed of all obligations, he built that grey ship, fulfilling the earlier promise hinted in the appendices. It is said that Legolas took Gimli with him, and they passed over sea. Thus they vanished into the mystery of the West, leaving behind a memory of friendship and renewal. Continue exploring Middle-earth's hidden stories and share this journey with others who seek to understand its evolving wonders. Make sure to enjoy another video and subscribe for more.